welcome to another episode of FuelMade's D2C Inspiration Series, where we're partnering up with experts to talk to the founders and marketers of leading brands. I'm Tina, and I lead marketing here at FuelMade. We're a Shopify agency that specializes in custom development and design, conversion rate optimization, and Klaviyo and email and SMS marketing. I have two awesome guests here today. I have Casey from ShipBob and Andrea, the founder of Touchland. And obviously with ShipBob being here, we're going to talk about all things fulfillment, shipping, all of that cool stuff, which is so timely right now anyway. So before we dive into things, why don't you both give yourselves an introduction into who you are, what you do, and a bit about your business. And Andrea, let's start with you.
Sure. So my name is Andrea Lisbona. I'm the founder of Touchland, the company that in 2018 set up to reinvent the hand hygiene world. So we're leaders in design and experience with skin-first formulations for hand sanitizers.
Awesome. What about you, Casey?
Yeah, Casey Armstrong over here at ShipBob, as you mentioned. We're a global fulfillment platform. We have over 30 fulfillment centers now across 6 countries. We ship millions of packages per month. And most of my questions are not about shipping and fulfillment. Andrea actually has some amazing stories well beyond that. And so I'm excited to dive in.
Super awesome. I'm excited to hear all about it. And actually with that, I'll just hand things over to you to dive into those questions.
Yeah, so Andrea, we've talked about some of this quite a bit before, but one of the things that really stood out to me for the first time we spoke is how, you started trying to, really change the hand sanitizer space, including moisturizers and everything from well before COVID. And something that was really important to you that you mentioned a bit before we hit the record button today was changing how people view hand sanitizer and the types of partners you have from like the Ulta Beauties of the world and whatnot. And so if you can just share a little bit there and how you're able to crack that. I'm sure it was an uphill battle for a while, and it seems like now it's you're really humming there. So if you can share any insights there.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that sometimes people think that in order to reinvent an industry, you have to reinvent a product. In order to truly change people's mindset on an industry, you truly have to reinvent everything, not just the product, but the placement, the promotion, the marketing, who you sell with, who you partner with. So we truly take the hard way, which is like the easiest way for us would have been like all hand sanitizers in the world, start selling in supermarkets and pharmacies. We were the first hand sanitizers to truly build a D2C strategy and be very successful on it. Our AOV is high 50s, low 60s. So when you think about hand sanitizer, people used to buy one at a time when they were running low in the supermarket. And Touchland was truly able to build that sort of lifestyle brand where people comes to Touchland and buy 6, 7 at a time. Either they buy it because it has different scents, so it's more like a perfume, one hand sanitizer for every day of the week. But also we've been the first hand sanitizer to really build a product that is giftable. I always say if my mother would have gifted me a pack of gel hand sanitizers in my 15-year-old anniversary, I would be pretty upset. I would take it as like, what are you trying to tell me? And nowadays, Touchland is in all the holiday gift guides, in all the birthday gift guides, in all the wedding party favors. So the fact that we've been able to take a hygienic product and elevate it into a skincare lifestyle item, it's because we truly changed not just the product, but we started selling in all fashion and beauty retailers in the US before COVID. I think that's very important because a lot of people think that hand sanitizers really boomed with COVID, but our success was earlier than COVID. We were able to launch in 1,000+ stores in 2019. We partnered with Revolve, Ulta in 1,200 doors, Bloomingdale's, and so on. So really very like prestige approach into the market where most of them, they never sold a hand sanitizer before. And we also built partnerships. Our first partnership that we've done has been with Disney. It's a very cool capsule collection inspired on Deco Pop art. So we truly changed the rules of the game for everything, not just product reinvention.
So I know there's never like a single silver bullet that changes the trajectory of a product, but I'll botch this, but you can correct me here. I remember you referring to typical hand sanitizer. It looks like it's in a ketchup bottle and it's like, expired vodka or something like that. It just reeks and then it just dries out your hands. But from including moisturizer in it, so it really is more of like a beauty product, to the different scents that you have, to the design of the actual product, which I know is something you put a lot of thought into. Like, which of those do you think has really helped elevate the brand, or do you think it's really being so thoughtful throughout all of it?
Yeah, I think it's like a product relationship is like a human relationship. There's obviously the physical attraction. So when you see this, there's a lot of people that say, I don't know what it is, but I want to have it because
Hmm.
I love packaging. But again, you cannot just build a brand and a powerhouse brand with a beautiful design. I think people buy it, then they try it, they feel it's great, it's not sticky, it doesn't smell like tequila or vodka, it actually smells great. And then they also fall in love with the fact that it's long lasting. Our hand sanitizers last 10 times more than a gel bottle. So at the end of the day, it's actually more affordable than the gel $1, $2 that you can buy in a supermarket. Plus, also I think it's a product that some sort of shows a lifestyle. Like it show, like you can select any hand sanitizer, but you select Touchland. You can select any car, but you select Tesla. You could, I think that there's a specific brands that truly say something about you, that you care about things. So people say a lot of times I get more compliments for my hand sanitizer than for my shoes or my bags. So I also think that there's some sort of recognition that people really like to own a Touchland and get all the people around them asking, what is this?
Yeah, and I've been a long time customer, so I can nod to all of that. I do gift it. I gave it to my wife wherever we go. My kids actually ask for it as well, so it is definitely something more catchy that you would never associate with, your typical hand sanitizer, especially when COVID hit, and you get the typical jar, and I'm like, no, I'm good. Um, so you've been at this for quite a while. I know some of the people listening in will be earlier in their journey. Whether it's something on the manufacturing side, to supply chain and fulfillment, to like the marketing front, to maybe even hiring, if you could give one piece of advice to yourself, let's say in 2019, what would that be?
So I think in order to be an entrepreneur, you have to have a very clear passion and goal, because there's the more feel of, if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. I feel like in my life, everything goes wrong. And I think it happens to every entrepreneur, that is like every day a different fire, a different war to fight. So I think the first advice would be to select something worth fighting for, because when you're gonna go through hell, you gotta have like some sort of mission and vision that keeps that fuel through all of these challenges that you encounter. And then you don't need to change the goal. You can adjust the sale. And I think this is something that for us was very important. Like we have this product in Europe, and we were not as successful. We were there, and we're like, it's, some people would have said like, just quit, it's not taking off. Instead, we pack our suitcases, travel to the US, start from scratch, and then suddenly a product that in Europe was not taking off, we launched here, and it was overnight, like Kickstarter campaign, fully funded in 24 hours. We were able to launch in all these dream retailers that we were able to grow our e-commerce to something very big, with like an AOV that normally success is 2x the unit cost, like ours is 6 7, so people goes and buys a lot of them. So this is some advice that I would really say, that if you're failing, it doesn't mean that your goal or your vision is wrong. You may just have to adjust the sales and try to get there in another way.
I like that. It could be the geo, it could be the channel that you're trying. You could be a little bit
Anything.
too early. I love that. So if we had to pick, one or two items to really focus in on from 2021, there have been so many macro shifts, from the supply chain issues with getting stuff from overseas, to the iOS updates impacting, Facebook ad spend. Any of those stand out that maybe you weren't expecting, and then how you guys were able to navigate that?
Yes, so I think the iOS has been something that for everyone in the D2C world has affected dramatically. For us, it's really trying to find ways, growth hacks, different initiatives, different ways to get to customers. We're experimenting a lot. We are very data driven, so we experiment and we try, and if it's worth it, we hone on that strategy. For example, we started partnering with subscription boxes, Because if you think at the end of the day, the CACs are so high that in order for you to acquire customers, where before you were profitable on first purchase unit economics, now maybe you're not. So for us, we are experimenting other channels where how can we get people to know our brand? How can we create this brand awareness? Is it television? Is it subscription boxes? And so I think that the hardest part of this is attribution and making sure that when you test it out, you can really ensure that there's some sort of attribution model to this strategy. For example, subscription boxes, you can always add any sort of coupon code that then you can see how many people we partnered 50,000 units, 10,000 people came back. Most probably it's going to be more affordable than trying to do it through social ads. So I think for us, it's a lot of testing. And again, it's challenges that are every day, and it's from every sort of angle. We've had trucks having accidents. It's a startup world. I feel like you never leave this sort of environment. In fact, the more you grow, the more challenges that you have. But I feel it's part of the adventure, and it makes it really beautiful when you accomplish what you accomplish.
Yeah. So something that you focused on really early in the company's life cycle was retail and B2B. And it seems like the zeitgeist is shifting a bit in the space where direct to consumer is still a great channel, but that's what it is. It's a channel. It's part of the business that feeds into, how you sell through retail and different marketplaces. What was the toughest part to navigate when you were getting started in retail?
Retail is challenging because I think like there's a lot of pros and cons. Retail is an amazing discovery platform, especially for a product like us of $9. You're walking around, you're in like the cashier wrap, and then you see this very cool packaging and all that. So it's a very easy add-on. So it's a great discovery platform. But then all retailers come with everything that this requires, from API connections, chargebacks, and all of the like sort of pains of working with the big guys. One of the best things that we've done is in 2021 is we moved to NetSuite. We wanted to be a fully ERP integrated company. So whenever we receive orders from retailers, it's EDI synchronized, connects with 3PL, sends the orders, and there's not a lot of manual errors. It's painful because again, for a company of our size, like going into an ERP, it's something that companies wait till they are really big, and then it's more painful. So that's why we try to do it as early as possible.
Nice. And then I have to ask, on the direct to consumer side and with fulfillment, did you guys ever do your own fulfillment? And how's that been, handing that off to a third party such as ShipBob, so you can focus on every other part of the business?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually put some good things on your ear, but I think we've started since day one working with ShipBob uniquely for D2C, and it's been an amazing experience, especially for a company growing 1,200% year over year. You have to have a partner that it can grow with you fast, and it's also a very close company. Although it's very big, 30 fulfillment centers and all that. Whenever there has been an issue, there's always been a hand that has allowed us to solve, like, how do we get these pallets to this other fulfillment center? Like I remember last year with the snow and everything. I think like that part of finding a 3PL is also finding a partner, because there's always challenges, weather challenges, and so many things. So for you to find a partner that is going to be flexible when they need to be able to deliver products on time to your customers is crucial. And so we're really happy. We've been 3 years working with ShipBob. We're discussing about internationalization, which is very exciting. So for us, it's been, we never have done our own fulfillment. It's always been through ShipBob for D2C, and it's been a really good experience for us.
That's great. So I'm glad something you mentioned a couple times was a partner, because that's really what you need is, a partner with you that's, on the same side of the table, working, looking in the same direction as you. And it gets to like the people side of it. And so you mentioned, your growth rates, especially as an e-commerce brand, are, extremely impressive. And when you think about the people you bring on, how has that been? Like, how have you navigated that? And, when you hire people, you need them, of course, to help you with projects that you probably wish you had them 6 months ago. But then you're also like, well, our business is going to look completely different in 6 to 12 months. And so how do you balance that and think about team building?
Yeah, it's challenging because I'm a first-time founder. I started Touchland when I was 24 years old, so I did not have a boss before. I've never had a mentor that can tell me how to do things best. So I always try to be how I am. I'm very humble and I make a lot of errors for sure. But what I've learned from hiring is I'm not the traditional person when I hire that I take a look at resumes. Whenever I did, I made a mistake. So I truly believe that skills can be learned, but attitude cannot. And so, especially for a company growing so fast, last year we grew so much and we were a small team. You have to find a team of hustlers, a team that is here for the long run, a team that is willing to go through hell with you. And this is a very specific DNA, and it's not been easy. And that's why I'm very selective when I hire because I don't want to fire. So I'd rather just dedicate more time to find the right people and bringing them in. And I'm very lucky. I have a team that they are humble enough to wear 10 hats, and at the same time they can do their job at an excellent level. So it's hard. I think it's the hardest part, HR. It's really finding, like, really understanding who is here for the long run, especially being a hand sanitizer brand, not just HR. Like, when we tried to raise funds in 2019, no one wanted to invest in hand sanitizer. Like, it was hard, it was challenging. Everyone would invest in deodorants and razors, but hand sanitizer, no. And then suddenly everyone that said no the year before started calling me the next year. And I said, you miss your train. But I think it's part of just like trying to be very, very selective with the people by their values, not by their resume.
Nice. Well, I think that's a great way to wrap it up, from, changing how people view a category to navigating B2B, launching your brand, the people side. We covered quite a bit. So Andrea, as always, I really appreciate you taking the time. And Tina, we can throw it back over to you.
Yeah, you just wrapped it up so perfectly. So thank you both so much for taking the time to come on today. But before, can you just share where people can learn more about Touchland and ShipBob? We'll start with you, Andrea.
Thank you. So you can find us in all over social media at Touchland on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and also our website is touchland.com.
Yeah, your TikTok's been blowing up. So for us, we're not as cool yet. So come check us out, shipbob.com. And if you have questions, you can always email me, carmstrong@shipbob.com as well.
Awesome. And for anyone that's still listening in, we have an ebook that we've worked on with ShipBob along with some other amazing partners, and it actually features all of the brands that we've been talking to throughout this series. I'll link to it in the comments. It's free to download, but it actually dives in even deeper than these conversations because it shares metrics, tactics, strategies, all of that good stuff. So definitely download it and also buy some Touchland. Thank you so much, both of you.